I will go out on a limb here. I'm being facetious. It's not much of a limb. That if we start putting the hurt to organizations that we're talking about here, these drug cartels in Mexico, in a really, really powerful, tangible, and efficient way, that we're going to see an ancillary reduction in gang behavior from other entities that are not on the, because look, they do not want to be next.
Yep.
They do not want to be next. Look, this is something that the mafia has. It's been their unwritten rule. They don't F around the law enforcement generally. There's some exceptions here and there. They don't like to bring heat on themselves. That goes back to the last 100 years. I think we'll see the same effect. We'll see minds change in these organizations if America starts taking action appropriately with these ones that we designate as FTOs.
So I guess, we're getting down near the end, Mark. Should we say, like, who cares if the Mexican government is a little upset over this? Look, we've been looking the other way and ignoring this problem for too long, or we've been allowing this problem to flourish so close to our border that now we're paying the price to it? I mean, do we just say, hey, there's going to be this period where diplomacy is a little tense with Mexico? That's just going to be how it is. Do we have to be okay with that?
Well, look, Mexico is going to ultimately have to be okay with whatever the U.S. decides. By the way, just as we have to be okay, we have to accept the reality of whatever Mexico does. We don't have to be okay with it. They don't have to be okay with it. But I would never say, I know you're just kind of paraphrasing, but I would never have the attitude of, well, who cares what Mexico thinks? Diplomacy it's compromise. It's trying to get something you want in exchange for what the other side wants. And if just the threat alone of these organizations being designated as terrorist organizations, that Mexico internally steps up their game, listen, that's a win for us. Now, ultimately, it's a win for Mexico down the road if they can curtail this internal strife that they've fomented, they've actually been a part of. It's a win. But I think ultimately, say, listen, here is your opportunity to be a partner in fighting this evil, this terror. You can work with us, or you can be bystanders, or worse yet, you can be a part of the problem. But we are going to engage in the activity that we need to engage in, with or without your help. We would prefer your help. We would prefer that you do most of the work, quite frankly. We don't want to come across your border. But if you don't, we cannot allow this infiltration and this impact and attack on our national sovereignty and safety. So it's not like, well, who cares? But ultimately, I think we have the right and the responsibility to protect ourselves as a nation.
Yep, well said. I guess another danger is escalation of violence against Americans in Mexico as retaliation.
Don't go.
Don't go. I mean, that's...
Get out.
Yeah.
And that sounds maybe flip too, but the thing is, if you know that we're going to be engaged now in this kind of operation,
right,
then, and by the way, I will almost guarantee that there are going to be travel warnings issued by the United States about Mexico. Hey, listen, don't go. We highly recommend you don't go. Then if you do go down there, then it's your responsibility. But that's one of the risk. You're right, Bill.
Yeah. The only other thing, Mark, is I guess I've heard that when you involve the military, it really all it does is decentralize the threat, fragment the threat, but the threat is still there. I don't know. I mean, it was obviously used on a much bigger scale in the global war on terror, but it eliminated really significant organizations, terrorist organizations around the world. So although I don't foresee anything on that scale happening, I think it can be successful, and I think it can definitely have an impact, whether it's with prosecutions here in the United States or if they set up some kind of Gitmo thing like they did, with the war on terror. I don't know. That's a possibility too.
It is.
I think that's it, folks. You heard the chief. He's for designating drug cartels, at least the two that we talked about, foreign terrorist organizations. I am for it now. My view has changed. because of where we are in the situation now. I think it's time for some hard negotiating with the government of Mexico. Time to put our 18 to 45-year-olds first and not worry about some of the other things that we've been worrying about, change our priorities perhaps. And let's see what happens during the next, 120 days, Mark, 180 days. We should really know how our interactions with the government of Mexico, where they're going to go, and how much cooperation we're going to get on the drug threat and with the immigration threat.
Yep. I think we'll know very quickly. Things will be very stark and very apparent.
Leave a comment for us, folks. Let us know what you think. Should the U.S. government designate drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations? If so, why? If not, why not?